what I'm receiving.
I got the Yahuwah on my mind. Got the commandments on my mind. And the kingdom is on the inside. Yahuwah reigns for all time. And that's why I got Yahuwah on my mind. Yahuwah on my mind. I got the kingdom on my mind. Zion is on my mind. I got the commandments on my mind. And we gon' live them all the time. Hey, I got Yahuwah on my mind. I got the kingdom on the inside. The kingdom is within me. Keep your commandments and have the right to eternal life. Yahuwah reigns before the beginning and after the end of time.
I got Yahuwah on my mind for every single time, though. Take a moment, matter of fact, let me take slow. Speed so beautiful, let the holy flow. Wait, everybody just looking back, talking about many things. Boy, mind, relax. Understand that giving, boy, stay on track. Soul food, don't you really want some of that? Cruise with me, no Smokey Robinson. Woo, man, don't you understand what you birthing in? Meditation, mortality, I'm thinking, man. Ain't nothing but the soul assurance kicking in. Referring to you, Shama, she just giving, man. And every day's nothing but Yahuwah's plan. I got Yahuwah, kingdom on in my soul. Now go ahead, roll with me.
I got Yahuwah on my mind. Yahuwah on my mind. I got the kingdom on my mind. I got the commandments on my mind. And we gon' live them all the time. I got Yahuwah on my mind. I got the kingdom on the inside. If you keep the commandments, you have right to eternal life. Yahuwah reigns before the beginning and after the end.
Hallelujah. Yeah, I got Yahuwah on my mind. Yeah, and the word flowing through me like water. And I can't even lie. Feeling like it's doing something to me. Yeah. And I switched up my life, man. I really like how I'm living right now, though. And I ain't never turning back to the world.
Feel like I don't really hit the lotto.
Yeah, shout out to the richest king. Yahuwah, Hallelujah, King. I'm going in for the righteous life now. And I ain't looking back, no rear view. Yeah, and I'ma keep the word true, though. See me spitting all this fire in the booth, though. But that's only shout out to the root. Shout out to the root. Yeah, shout out to the root.
Yahuwah on my mind. Yahuwah on my mind. I got the kingdom on my mind. I got the commandments on my mind. And we gon' live them all the time. By your strength, Yahuwah. I got Yahuwah on my mind. Yahuwah on my mind. I got the kingdom on the inside. Keep the commandments, so I have right to eternal life. Yahuwah reigns before the beginning and after the end of time.
Praise Yah. Shalom, shalom, y'all. This is Yahoo. I see been helping me since my birth, and been helping man since we hit dirt. I didn't see the truth, I can't stir earth. off in another direction. Moses said juice like the dead, so I'm popping flaws in my reflection with a helping hand from the Most High. I can stand against anything. I ain't rocking with my Messiah. And these rappers make a track verse that can lead my brothers to the fire. But God has been my help. Don't flex with snakes. Now I'm not felt. Lies get wealth. I'm not surprised. Repent or die. That's my message. Yes, you guessed it. Please don't fry. Man is the help of man. Can't speak for me at the end. No, I can't trust the flows. All that fly talk not convinced. Blind lead the blind and ditches. Can't fulfill Satan wishes. I'd rather work for Yahuwah and help complete the mission. My soul lieth in silence if it won't but help. Now I got a shield, Elohim help. Though they persecuting us, you the help. That Ruach HaKodesh shit give me my help. Yah has help. Yah has help. Dude. Yah has help. Yah has help. Dude. Yah has help. Yah has help. Dude. Yah has help. God has help, right? Now you gotta be to help me. Gotta keep it so healthy. Now you see you got the key to make the heart bubbly like tea. If you don't care, just leave. Real trust hard to seek in this lifetime. And you make it hard for the real soul down. Thank y'all, I'm blessed with mine. Ruach that can help you shine. Ointment anointed smoothie. You black but oh calmly. Round rings and is they gold. And you make them nice to see. Though you not blessed with that, you make a point to still not slack. Your word is fact. Implants they can't stand with that. I wanna help you see like you help me, it's no biggie. Take off them curses, you and me, of course he'll make us free. I double check, no need to fret, I check the stats and see. No need to start a scene with Yahusha, he'll make us clean. My soul lieth in silence if it won't but help. Now I got a shield, Elohim help. Though they persecuting us, you the help. That Ruach HaKodesh shit give me my help. Yah has 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 help. Right. The Most High will is so real. Think you got your own pot, but you do not. Indexing your pinky, but you don't rock. Everlasting water out the new rock. When we conversate, then I first state. Truth real, set you straight. You may lose friends, but at the end, we gon' find out that it all do relate. Pray that we can't change our fate. Spoke to my bro the other day. Thank God that he helped us to shape all the sins we begin in. But I'm seeing to the lost sheep, but the harvest for it get reaped. Let me tell you something, y'all never fail, man. It's the plan. Psalm 51, 33. Read that, see it, get deep. Yahuwah Elohim, I'm trying to please, and I know they're trying to violate at all means. Trying to kill my people in a dream, so we don't see the prophecies, and I'm still planting seeds. Thank y'all, see another day when the sun rises, and I pray. My soul lieth in silence if it won't but help. Now I got a shield, Elohim help. Though they persecuting us, you the help. That Ruach HaKodesh shit give me my help. Yah has 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 help.
All right, you want to stand and face room and bro open up?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is Psalm 16, excuse me. Preserve me, O Yahweh, for in thee do I put my trust. O my soul, thou hast said unto Yahweh, thou art my Elohim, my goodness extended not unto thee, but to the saints that are in the earth, and to the excellent in whom is in all my delight. Their sorrows shall be multiplied that hasten after another God. Mm-hmm. Their drink offerings of blood will I not offer, nor take up their names in my lips. Yahweh is the portion of mine inheritance,
and of my cup thou maintainest my lot. The lines are fallen unto me in a pleasant place. Yea, I have a goodly heritage. I will bless Yahweh, who have given me counsel. My reins also instructed me in the night seasons. I have set Yahweh always before me, because he is at my right hand, I shall not be moved. Therefore my heart is glad and my glory rejoices. My flesh also shall rest in hope. For thou wilt not leave my soul unto hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption. Thou wilt show me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. Hallelujah. 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 I say that I've read to you Psalm 16 is in entirety. May the Most High add a blessing to the hearers, the readers, and most of all the doers of his holy word. In Yeshua Mashiach name. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right. Back in the building. Happy Feast of Purim, family.
Yes,
We
sir.
back. I know we rapid fire. We had it last night. Had it this afternoon. We back. We had the brews out there on the corner.
Yep.
And we were setting up the line. I see some of the brews made it back home. I see Amnon and already made it back to the house. But we had the brews out there on the corner. And then we got nephew too. We're gonna be going on after this slide. And then we got the alms deed and the Feast of Purim tomorrow. Had a full slate weekend. All praise to the Most High. Putting in the work for the Most High. It's been truly a blessed weekend already. We can hope to continue that tomorrow. In Yeshua name, hallelujah. I turn it over to my band.
All right, Shabbat Shalom. Yeah, I can still say Shabbat Shalom. It's still, I'm saying the Sabbath. And happy Feast of Purim. Happy Feast of Purim, family. Man, this is a great memorial. That's civil right. Day, you know what I'm saying, of the Israelites.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Babylon got their civil days, and we got ours. So
that's right, bro.
Y'all see the title of the lesson, The Feast of Purim, Israel Can't Be Faded. And you know what I'm saying? The title is what it is. And this story, it's just another example of how Israel can't be faded, can't be exterminated, can't be, you know what I'm saying, whatever you talking about.
Whatever you trying.
We talking about going back before the Tuskegee experiment all the way to Egypt. Mm-hmm. They've been trying to take Israel out, but Purim come from the word pur, which means light. Mm-hmm. All right, and everybody know that light. It was like it looked like dice. It looked like something like dice, but it was a decision making tool back in the day.
That's right.
And a lot was cast, you know what I'm saying, on Israel that determined the day that all of us would be exterminated. You know what I'm saying? So this story is a foreshadow of our deliverance. This story is a chop to the whole name doctrine. Why you say that, Akti? Well, because the Lord's name is not mentioned anywhere in this Bible, but his hand and his sovereignty and his power is evident. Right? So the author of this book didn't even write a title to the Most High, to ascribe a title to the Most High in this book. And that just goes to show you that it's not about the name. It's about the power you serve.
Come on, brother.
You know what I'm saying? This thing, like I said, it was a foreshadow of what's going to happen to us, to the Israelites that still living. Like we see a bunch of fighting going on between other nations, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes people get caught up in the thinking, well, where the prophecy at about stuff happening to the Israelites? It's coming.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even in the Bible, you can see to where there was conflict between two other nations, and then they all of a sudden turned their attention to who? Israel. The Israelites. Mm-hmm. So just like we see, y'all, it's gonna happen in the same manner. We see all this conflict between different nations. Sooner or later, all of them gonna snap out of it and say, wait a minute, we got a common enemy.
Right. Yep. You're right.
We got a common enemy. And guess what? They gonna be saying the same stuff our old enemies you say. It's a people that got laws different from us. Mm-hmm. That won't get on our plan. That won't get down on what we doing. Mm-hmm. We need to be trying to get them. Mm-hmm. Right? So what you got in this story, a bunch of political maneuvers death threats, plot twists,
Mm-hmm.
and then somewhat of what was a beauty pageant landed our Aunt Esther right where she needed to be.
Right. That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? Landed her right where she needed to be.
Come on, man.
And another thing that this story should teach you is we can't just pray our problems away.
You gotta do something.
You gotta do something. You gotta do something. It's a perfect example of faith and works. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mordecai's and Esther's responsiveness enabled them to be in the right place at the right time so that the Most High's will could be done.
Right.
Right. So without further ado, y'all, let's go and get into it. We're gonna start this out Deuteronomy 28.
All right.
Deuteronomy 28, right? Because it's not a dumb question to ask, especially if you were a little newer, a little fresher in this thing. It ain't a crazy question to ask. Will the Most High loved his people so much? Why are they constantly in these situations?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You got questions, the Bible has answers. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15, and then skip down to 48 when you're done with that.
With 15?
Yeah.
But it shall come to pass that thou will not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy
You
Elohim.
see that's Israel got a listening problem. We got a listening problem. Hearken, hear. That's the key word in there.
That's right.
Hear. If Israel will not hear the voice of the Lord your God, go ahead.
To observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
You see that was a guarantee.
Yes, sir.
That wasn't a 30% chance that the curses might follow you, a 50% chance. Nah, that's 100% guarantee. He said, look, if y'all don't listen, these curses gonna fall upon you. And let's go read one of them curses. We ain't gonna go through the whole Deuteronomy 28. Jump down to verse 48.
All right. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee.
You see that? He said you gonna serve your enemies. You gonna make their money for them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Go ahead.
In hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Now, he didn't say he gonna scatter you among your friends.
No.
Among your comrades. He said, I'm gonna scatter you among your enemies. And he said, and while you serve them, you're gonna be hungry, you're gonna be thirsty, you're gonna be naked. He said, you're gonna lack in all things among your enemies.
Come on.
Why? Because you're being disobedient, and you're still disobedient to this day. Let's go to the next spot, Jeremiah chapter 5. Let's do 11 through 19.
All right.
Jeremiah chapter 5, 11 through 19. When you get it, go ahead.
The house of Israel and the house of Yehudah have dealt very treacherously against me, said Yah.
Mm-hmm.
They have belied to the Elohim and have said, it is not he, neither shall evil come upon us, neither shall we see sword nor famine.
You see, this the mindset of our people today. He said, y'all done dealt treacherously against me, then had a nerve to say, so what? Ain't nothing gonna happen to me.
Yeah.
I've been eating pork all my life.
Yeah.
I've been celebrating Christmas all my life. This is family tradition.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I've been cheating on my wife for 30 years.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing gonna happen to me.
Okay.
See, that this the mindset. Man, the Lord, he just like a black father. He ran off and left his children and they came back since. All right, go ahead.
13.
Yeah.
And the prophets shall become weaned, and the word is not in them. Thus shall it be done unto them. Wherefore thus said Yahweh the Elohim of hosts, Zabaoth, because ye speak this word. Behold, I will make my words in thy mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them. Lo, I will bring a nation upon you from far, O house of Israel, says the Elohim. It is a mighty nation, It is an ancient nation, a nation whose language thou knowest not, neither understandest what they say. Their quiver is an open sepulchre.
You see that? He says their quiver or their arrow case, it's an open graveyard.
Yes, sir.
Meaning when they draw their weapons, when our enemies draw their weapons, it ain't to calm you down, it's to kill you. It's to put you in the grave. The scripture prophesying the police brutality, the attitude that your enemies will have towards you. That holster that's sitting on their waist with that gun in it, it's an open sepulcher when they come to Judah and Israel.
Man, that's cold right there.
Go ahead.
They are all mighty men, and they shall eat up thine harvest and thy bread, which thy sons and thy daughters should eat. They shall eat up thy flocks and thine herds. They shall eat up thy vines and thy fig trees. They shall impoverish thy fenced cities wherein thou trusted with the sword. And
when you look up, the white man got his hand in everything you do. Man, you get a house property tax.
Man, look, before you get your money, it's tax.
Before you get your money, it's tax.
Why you got it, it's tax.
Why you got it, it's tax.
And when you spend it, it's tax.
And when you spend it, it's tax. And then look, don't think you slick and go try to go exempt.
Yeah.
They're going to get you on the back end. They're going to get you on the back end.
Man, that's crazy, dude.
Groceries, tax.
Tax, coal,
tax,
gas,
tax,
candy,
tax,
cigarette.
Look, the little Kinder eggs. I don't know if y'all children eat the little Kinder eggs. Man, them things about that big with a little piece of chocolate in it and a small toy.
Yeah.
I remember them things used to be like $1 maybe.
Yeah.
Them things almost $3. Man, look here. The scriptures is true. Go ahead.
18. Nevertheless, in those days, said Yahweh, I will not make a full end with you.
That's right.
And it shall come to pass when ye shall say, wherefore does Yahweh our Elohim all these things unto us? Then shalt thou answer them, like as ye have forsaken me, and have served strange eels in your land, so shall ye serve strangers in the land that is not yours.
You see that? But that verse 18 is major. And that's why these other nations' plans of extermination never work.
Come on, bro.
Because see now, when they try to put them in place, it's like the Most High has to step in because he said, okay, see, now y'all trying to mess with prophecy.
Right.
Because this people got to return back to their land and serve me in righteousness. And you trying to wipe them out? Nah, I ain't going to have it.
There you go.
I ain't going to have it. And then it's like they do it in the spirit of, well, their God's punishing them anyway. Let's pile on.
Right.
No, he told y'all don't further the affliction.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? And then I can read the scriptures in 2nd Baruch where he say, he not going to treat the heathens like how he treat his people when it come time to kill them.
Yeah.
He said, I punish my people. I just tapped them on the wrist.
Right.
Even though as bad as the transatlantic slave trade was, everything that we went through was compared to what I'm going to do to y'all sworn enemies. He said, I'm going to wipe them out of existence. You won't even know this people existed. When you look through the annals of history, they won't be there.
It's going to be like the Ostrogoths and the Vandals.
Yeah. They over. So let's go to the next spot, Lamentations 5, 1 through 5.
All right.
And then we're going to get into the story. Well, we got one more, then we're going before we get into the book of Esther. Lamentations 5, 1 through 5. When you get it, go ahead.
Remember, O Yahweh, what has come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers. Our houses to aliens. We are orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows.
You see that? Everywhere we went, the same conditions. Single parent homes, even back in Jeremiah's time. He said, we orphans and fatherless. Our mothers are as widows. That's the same condition.
Same condition.
Our people just ain't getting married. But when these people go out and have baby mamas and then the baby dad is getting killed out here.
He said he's gonna make it long continuous.
Come on now. Go ahead.
We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us.
You see that? Our wood is sold to us. The stuff that come out the earth, we got to pay for.
Yeah, yeah.
Most of the stuff that you see here probably come from our land. And they just reselling it back. They just selling it to us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Our necks are under persecution. We labor and have no rest.
You see that? This is our condition amongst our enemies. These people are not your friends. They not. All right, let's go to Psalms 83.
Let's go.
Psalms 83. Pick it up at verse 1.
All right. Keep not thou silence, O Elohim. Hold not thy peace and be not still, O Elohim. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
You see that? In that verse 2, he said, they that hate thee have lifted up the head. And then he, in verse 3, he goes on to show how these people, our enemies, hate the Most High by hating his people. It is no way you can say you love the Most High, but you hate them Israelites. Go ahead.
Back in topic 3.
Yeah.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thine hidden ones. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation.
Right. So everything you find yourself in, everything you find these heathens doing, is to the whole purpose is to cut us off from being a nation. Planned Parenthood, that was started for Israelites.
Come on, bro. Come on.
You understand what I'm saying? The war on drugs. Israel.
Tuskegee experiment.
Israel.
Yep.
When you look at what's the boy name? Robert Tryon, the dude who did the rat experiment.
Yes. That was against Israel.
Them heathens took that same blueprint, put us in projects on top of each other, and watch us destroy each other. And when you read the experiment, the rats that was in the good conditions, in the good maize, that had the proper things to live, the proper food, the proper space, they was more intelligent than the rats that was staying on top of each other with no food.
They wasn't agitated.
And then look, even some of them rats, this the tripped out part about it. Some of the rats that was in the bad part of the maze started humping each other same sex.
You see what I'm saying?
See the conditions that they put us in.
Right.
It reflects today in our community.
You see it all day long, brother.
Come on now. Some of the rats started attacking each other.
As it is today.
And them heathens said, what happened when we put these niggas on top of each other and call these buildings project buildings?
You see what happened to it.
Come on now. We all know what go on in the projects. Right? And this is what the scripture talking about, furthering the affliction. Furthering the affliction. So realize that you behind enemy lines. You here with your enemies. People that hate you. People that want to cut you off from being the nation. Go ahead.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites of Moab and the Hagarenes and Gebal, Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also joined with them.
Look at this long list.
They have helped the children of Lot.
You ain't got no friends. You don't have friends.
See, you got the nerve, elder, about he ain't got no enemies.
Who said that?
Like, you know what I'm talking about in Chicago.
Oh man, nah.
He stood up there and said he don't have no enemies.
That's a. I mean, so I guess we just reading
this for nothing.
This a ghost scripture. This really don't exist. What we reading right here. This ain't none of this real right now. Don't let nobody fool you into believing that.
Right.
And you know what? If you around here kissing everybody butt, you probably ain't got no enemies. Right? If you in the bed with these heathens, yeah, you right. You probably ain't got none.
They gonna do me shaking.
You know what I'm saying? But them type of Israelites, notice they stray away from the more radical brews like us. Because we gonna tell you, yes, you have enemies out here.
That's right.
Right? Go ahead. This is a long list. How could an elder say that? And it's Edom 1, Ishmaelites 2, Moab 3, Hagarenes, Jebal, Ammon, Amalek, Philistines, Tyre.
Asher. We ain't through.
Children
of Lot, Selah.
Yeah.
Verse 9. Do to them as unto the Midianites, and to Caesarea, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kishon, which are perished at Endor.
You see what he said? See what he prayed? He said, do unto them as you did the Midianites. He said, which are dead, which died at Endor. Mm-hmm. He said, they became as sugar, honey, iced tea for the earth.
That's it. That's it.
Go ahead.
Make their nobles like Oreb, like Zeb. Yeah, all their princes as Zebah and Zalmunna, who said, let us take ourselves the houses of Yah in possession. O my Elohim, make them like a wheel as the stubble before the wind, as a fire burns the wood, and as a flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Mm-hmm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Elohim.
All right, that was it on that.
That was it on that.
Okay, yeah, drop it at this 16.
Well, I got one more verse. You want to read the whole thing?
Yeah, you can if you want to.
No, if you want me to stop at 16, that's cool. I didn't know if you want me to read that.
How many more verses?
2 more.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, read that.
Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that the men may know that thou whose name alone is Jehovah, art the most high over all the earth.
Yeah, hey, in layman's terms, let them die.
That's it. Kill them all.
Right? He just used perish right there. Oh, he wishing death on him. He just wished death on him. He said, let them die. Huh? How many of y'all scared to say that in y'all prayers? Let all those who's trying to cut us off from being a nation, let them die.
That's it, brother. That's it.
Period. All right, now let's get into this. Let's go to the book of Esther, the editions of Esther in the Apocrypha.
All right.
Yep, the editions of Esther. And what I did, like, we gonna read it how it's posted. You know what I'm saying? We married the editions into, the Esther in the 66.
It's all good. It's all good.
We gonna read it in this order. When we as y'all can see, y'all Apocrypha where it had them breaks in it. It says like
we're gonna put it up on the screen for the people.
Placed in chapter 3 and 13. We might not be able to read that. I might not be able to read that on the share screen. So if y'all got y'all Apocryphas, just read it.
Okay.
When we do the additions, of course. So we starting this out in the additions to Esther, which is on page 55 in the Apocrypha, the red book.
Oh, I think the additions is on there.
It is on there.
Click that plus sign. Up on top. Yeah. So you click the there you go. And go, click that drop down. There it is. Scroll over the other way. Oh, you got to take the first one. But you got to yeah. Oh, you talking about the front one. I see what you're saying. Scroll up.
Oh, okay, there
you go. There it is.
All right. Make sure I'm starting the right place. Okay, yeah, here you go. Mm-hmm. All right, we in an edition of Esther. Let me share that on the screen. All right, let's get it. Y'all should be able to see that good. Mm-hmm. All right, when you get it,
where we starting?
We're gonna start right here in chapter 11. Okay, yeah, chapter 11.
All right. In the 4th year of the reign of Ptolemy and Cleopatra, the these Sotheists, who said he was a priest and a Levite. And Ptolemy, his son, brought this epistle of Purim, which they said was the same as the Lysimachus, the son of Ptolemy, that was in Jerusalem, had interpreted. In the second year of the reign of Artaxerxes the Great, in the first month of Nisan, Mordecai, the son of Jairus, the son of Simi, the son of Cassi, of the tribe of Benjamin, had a dream.
Right. So, hey, this is before everything started to pop off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It just goes to show us that, hey, in every region where there's Israelites, it's going to be a servant. The Most High going to warn before it all go down.
Come on. All
right, go ahead.
Verse 3.
Yeah.
Who was a Yahudim and dwelt in the city of Susa, a great man, being a servitor in the king's court. And he was also one of the captives which Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, carried away to Jerusalem, which Jeconiah, who is what's the name? Jeconiah's king of Judah. That's what it was. And was it this dream? And this was his dream. Excuse me. Behold, a noise of a tumult with thunder and earthquakes and an uproar in the land. And behold, two great dragons came forth ready to. Wait, I'm in the wrong thing.
No, you that's right.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. I think I'm losing my spot. And behold, two great dragons came forward ready to fight, and their cry was great. And their cry, and at their cry, all nations were prepared to battle, that they might fight against the righteous people. And lo, a day of darkness and obscurity, tribulation and anguish and affliction, and a great uproar upon the earth. The whole righteous nation was troubled, fearing their own evils, and were ready to perish. Then they cried unto Yahweh upon their cry, as it were from a little fountain, was made a great flood, even much water. The light and the sun rose up, and the lowly were exalted and devoured the glorious. Now when Mordecai, who had seen this dream, and what Yahweh had determined to do, was awake that he bear this dream in mind, and until night by all means was desirous to know it.
You see that Mordecai, he had the dream of this thing happening, and he was like, it's stuck in his mind. You know what I'm saying? And so he like, man, what could all this mean? What could all this mean? Let's go to chapter 12 in the additions.
Okay.
Let's go to chapter 12 in the additions. Let's see. We're reading a little bit about Mordecai and his time in his captivity. Go ahead.
And Mordecai took his rest in the court with Gabbatha and Tara, the two eunuchs of the king and the keepers of the palace.
Yeah.
And he heard their devices and searched out their purposes. And he learned that they were about to lay hands upon Artaxerxes the king. And so he certified the king of them. Then the king examined the two eunuchs, and after that they had confessed it, they were strangled. And the king made a record of these things, and Mordecai also wrote thereof.
Right. So, hey, guess what Israelites would have called Mordecai in today's time? A snitch. But hey, street rules don't apply to the scriptures. We fighting good versus evil.
Come on, bro.
You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead.
So the king commanded Mordecai to serve in the court, and for this he rewarded him. Howbeit Haman, the son of Maccabeus, the Agagite, who was in great honor with the king, sought to molest Mordecai and his people because of the two eunuchs of the king.
All right, so now we get the backstory. This is like the backstory.
Yeah.
Now we see why Haman started to hate Mordecai. From that day forward.
Probably some of his buddies.
Yeah. He got two of his partners killed. From that day forward, it was on. All right, now let's go to chapter 1 in the book of Esther in the 66.
All right.
So Mordecai, the Most High was already dealing with him. He was already dealing with him. Esther 1, go ahead.
Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus. This is Ahasuerus which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, over 107 and 20 provinces. That in those days, when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan the palace, in the 3rd year of the reign, he had made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and of Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces being before him. When he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom, the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 180 days. Man, he had a party for 180 days.
180 days.
And when these days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were in Shushan the palace, both unto the great and small, 7 days in the court of the garden of the king's palace, where were white and green and blue hangings fastened with cords and of fine linen and purple and silver rings, and pillars of marble, and the beds were of gold and silver upon pavement of red and blue and white and black marble. Decked out, and they gave them drink in vessels of gold, the vessels being diverse one from another, and the royal wine in abundance, according to the state of the king. And the drinking was according to the law, none did compare. For so the king had appointed to all officers of his house that they should do according to every man's pleasure. Also Vashti, the queen made a feast for the women in the royal house, which belonged to King Ahasuerus. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mahuman and Bizda, Harbona, Bigda, Abigatha, Zethar, and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look on.
All right, go ahead.
But Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth, and his anger burned in him.
Right. Now, why she just couldn't come to the room just so he could,
Amen. That's how it is.
You know what I'm saying? And hey, this is something here for the sisters too. It's a contrast of 2 women that was beautiful, but what set them apart was the mindset.
Come on, man.
That's what set them apart. You can be beautiful and act like this. You can be beautiful and behave yourself like Esther. Go ahead.
Verse 13.
Yeah.
And the king said that to the wise men which knew the time, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew the law and judgment. And the next unto him was Karshina, Shethar, Adamah, Tarshish, Mirez, Marsina, and Memukkan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and we sat the first in the king. They looking at it, he hot. What shall we do unto Queen Vashti according to the law, because she has not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by chamberlain?
Man, look, you just embarrassed the king in front of all his homeboys like that. Ooh-wee. Go ahead.
And the moot man answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen has not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes, when it shall be reported that the king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. Likewise, all the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes which have heard of the deed of the queen, thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she.
All right. Go ahead, read that last verse, then we're going to go into chapter 2.
All right. And when the king's decree which he shall make shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give their husbands honor, both to great and small.
All right, let's go into chapter 2. Let's go into chapter 2.
All right.
Hold on. Nope. All right, go ahead.
Verse 1, chapter 2, verse 1. After these things, when the wrath of the king Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done and what was decreed against her. Then said the king's servant that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king, and let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, and to the house of the women unto the custody of he, the king's chamberlain, keepers of the women, and let their things for purification be given them.
Boy, he ain't play. He ain't try to. Hey, won't you? Why you do that?
Next,
I'm finna change the nail in my tent.
Next,
gone. Bye. Next.
Wouldn't want to be.
Yep. Go ahead.
Verse 4.
Yeah.
And let the maiden which pleases the king be queen instead of Vashti, and the thing pleased the king, and he did so. Now in Shushan the palace, there was a certain Yahudim, a Jew, whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish the Benjamite. We just read that.
Yep.
Who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity, which had been carried away with Jeconiah the king of Judah, and Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon had carried away. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. So it came to pass, when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house, to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the women. Excuse me. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her things for purification, which such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens, which were meet to be given her out of the king's house. And he preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house of the women. Esther had not shown her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it. And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the women's house to know how Esther did and what should become of her.
Right. Hey, so now we kind of know why he might have said that, because what we read in the beginning. He was already getting warnings from the Most High about this thing.
Yeah.
And so the Most High put it in his spirit on how to tell his niece how to move.
Right.
Look,
right.
Don't
tell
them fringes away.
Yeah,
put them fringes up. You know what I'm saying? Hey, put them up. They ain't got to show them all.
Why is the servant harmless as a dove?
That's right.
Now the Hebrew Israelite, I'm shouting to the rooftop.
Hey,
it may not be the wild thing to do right now.
Scripture says it's a time and place for everything.
That's it, bro.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
Now when every maid's turn was come to go in to King Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months, according to the manner of women, for so were the days of their purification accomplished, to which 6 months with oil of myrrh and 6 months with sweet odors, with other things purified. They bathed them jokers 6 months and all this stuff here.
Yeah.
And some of them won't even take a shower when they go. Huh?
They take a little sink bath.
Well, we don't call it what we used to call it.
Right, I already know.
But they soak these women in this oil and stuff, man.
Yeah.
For months.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Skin probably soft, boy.
Yeah. 13.
Yeah.
Then thus came every maiden unto the king. Whatsoever she desired was given to her with her out of the house of the women unto the king's house. In the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned into the second house of the women to the custody of Shahagagaz. Shahagagaz.
Name right
there. The king's chamber, which kept the concubine. I mean, how many chambers he got? She came into the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go unto the king, she required nothing but that Haggai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her.
Mm-hmm.
So Esther was taken up unto King Ahasuerus into the house of the royal in the 10th month, with the month Tebeth, which is the month Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all women, and he obtained grace and favor in the sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti.
All right, so now look, so far, just 2 chapters in, 3,
right,
into this story, we ain't read a title that's ascribed to the Most High yet, have we?
We ain't heard nothing about it.
But we see his hand.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
You see what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
So you ain't never got to call the name.
Come on, bro. Who working behind the scenes? You see the power in the movie.
You see the power. You see the dream that was being sent to Mordecai, and now you see the favor obtained that Esther obtained from the king.
Mm-hmm.
All this is he going somewhere with this. You see that? So you ain't never got to say a name. All right, go ahead. Finish.
Verse 18.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Then the king made a great feast unto all the princes and his servants, even Esther's feast. And he made a release to the provinces and gave gifts according to the state of the king. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, when Mordecai sat in the king's gate, Esther had not shown her kindred nor her people as Mordecai had charged her. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, 2 of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Teresh, of those which kept the door, were wroth and sought to lay hand on the king of Ahasuerus. And the thing was known by Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen, and Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. And when the inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore, they were both hanged on a tree, and as it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king.
All right, and we read that in the additions to Esther, right?
That's right.
Now let's go to Esther chapter 3. Esther chapter 3.
Yes, sorry.
Esther chapter 3. All right, and when we get to verse 13, we're gonna jump back to the additions. When we get to verse 13. All right, go ahead.
Chapter 3, verse 1. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him and set his seat above all princes that were with him. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman. And for the king had so commanded concerning him, but Mordecai bowed not, nor did reverence.
Now, keep in mind, remember, this ain't the first that they run in. Right? We read at the beginning, more than likely it had to have been his partner because he wouldn't have got this pissed off.
That's right.
It's something as simple as this.
That's right.
Right? So he was looking for a reason already.
He was probably walking by him to make sure, see if he was going to bow.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Verse 3. The king's servant, which is in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matter would stand, for he had told them that he was a Yahoo.
You see that every day Mordecai stood on it. Every day he stood on it. All right, go ahead.
And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. And he thought to scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone. For they had shown him the people of Mordecai, wherefore Haman sought to destroy the Yahudim that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. In the first month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast pure, that is the lot, before Haman from day to day, and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is the month Adar. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among in all the provinces of the king, and their laws are diverse from all people. Neither keep they the king's laws, therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. And I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business, to bring it into the king's treasury. And the king took his ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. And the king said unto Haman, the seal is given to thee. The people also do with them as it seemeth good to thee. The book say great men are not always wise.
Yep, they say that.
Don't they say that?
Yep.
He just going off what dude's saying.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you gonna give him the finances and the tools to do it.
And his heart,
gonna do.
And as we go on to read, we're gonna see his heart wasn't even like that.
Right.
To exterminate, because he found out,
Yeah.
Oh, I can't do that. He could have very well said kill everybody but her.
Right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Then were the king's scribes called on the 13th day of the first month.
What verse you at?
Verse 12.
Okay, all right.
And there was written, and according to all that Haman had commanded unto the king's lieutenants and to the governors that were over every province, and to the rulers of every people, and every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language, in the name of King Ahasuerus was it written and sealed with the king's ring. And the letters were sent by post to all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all the Yahudim, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is in the month Adar, to take the spoil of them for a prey.
All right, let's just stop it right here. Let's jump to the additions in chapter 13. In chapter 13. I read 13 and then just read 1 through 7.
You want to say?
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on, let me share it on. Let me pull it up on for the people on here. All right, go ahead.
The copy of the letter was this: the great King Artaxerxes writeth these things to the princes and governors that are under him from India unto Ethiopia, in the 120 provinces. After that, I became Lord over many nations and had dominion over the whole world, not lifted up with presumption of my authority, but carrying myself always in the equity and mildness, and I purpose to settle my subjects continually in a quiet life, and making my kingdom peaceable and open for passage to the utmost coast, to renew peace, which is desired of all men. Now, when I asked my counsel how this might be brought to pass, Haman, the excelled in wisdom among us, was approved for this constant good will and steadfast fidelity, and had the honor of the second place in the kingdom. Declared unto us that all nations throughout the world that was scattered a certain malicious people that had laws and contrary to all nations, and continue to despise the commandment of kings, so as to the uniting of our kingdoms honorably intended by us cannot go forward.
Man, look, Agagite is what? An Edomite.
Yeah.
So this is who going back to the king, telling the king about Israel, an Edomite, y'all.
Not only he is Edomite, but he is what the sworn tribe enemy, Amalek.
Yeah.
That's a sworn enemy of the Most High.
What was the king from Saul failed to kill?
Amalek. That was Agag.
Amalek. Now you see what
Agag.
You see how your disobedience can have a domino effect.
Yep, that was Agag, the king Agag. That's why he said call him Agagite.
Right. So I figured he was.
Yep.
So Saul not doing what he was supposed to do years before all this. Yep. You were supposed to exterminate them.
All of them.
All of them. Haman wasn't even supposed to be here.
Yep.
But hey, when you disobedient, it's a domino effect.
Yep.
And sometimes your disobedience can have an effect on your life and the lives of others for years to come.
Future generations.
Yep.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 5.
Yeah.
Seeing then we understand that this people alone is continually in opposition unto all men, differing in a strange manner of their law and evil effect on our state, working all mischief they can, that our kingdom may not be firmly established.
I mean, I guess this heathen ain't lying. You know, I guess he told her, look, you know, we don't like, we different from, our laws different from everybody else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We are in constant opposition because of our law.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So go ahead.
Verse 6. Therefore we have commanded all that they that are signified in writing unto you by Amen, who is ordered over the affairs and is next unto us, shall all with their wives and children be utterly destroyed by the sword of their enemies, without all mercy and pity, the 14th day of the 12th month Adar of this present year, that they who are old and now are malicious may in one day with violence go into the grave, and so ever hereafter cause our affairs to be well settled without trouble.
All right, let's go back to chapter 3.
All right.
Let's go back, and I believe you just got the verse 14 left.
Okay. 14
and 15.
All right. We're back in Esther family, chapter 3, verse 14. The copy of the writing for the commandment to be given in every province was published unto all people, that they should be ready against that day. The post went out, being hastened by the king's commandment, and the decree was given in Shushan the palace, and the king and Haman sat down to drink, but the city of Shushan was perplexed.
All right, let's go to chapter 4. Let's go to chapter 4, and then when we get to verse 17, we're gonna go back to the additions. All right, Esther chapter 4 and verse 1.
All right.
When you get it, go ahead.
When Mordecai perceived that all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes and put on a sackcloth with ashes, and went out in the midst of the city and cried with a loud and bitter cry. And it came even before the king's gate, for none might enter into the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. And in every province, whithersoever the king's commandment and the decree came, there was a great mourning among the Yahudim, and fasting and weeping and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes. So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told it to her. Then was the queen exceedingly grieved, and she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai, and to take away his sackcloth from him, but he received it not. Then called Esther for Hatak, one of the king's chamberlains, whom he had appointed to attend upon her, and to give a commandment to Mordecai to know what it was and why it was. So Hatak went forward to Mordecai unto the street of the city, which was before the king's gate. And Mordecai told him all that had happened unto him, and the sum of money that Haman had promised to pay to the king's treasury for the Yahudim to destroy them. And he gave him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given at Shushan to destroy them, to show it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go in unto the king to make supplication unto him, to make the request before him for her people. And Hatak came and told Esther the words of Mordecai. And Esther spoke again unto Hatak, and gave him the commandment, and gave commandment unto Mordecai. And all the king's servants and the people of the king's province do know that whosoever, whether a man or woman, shall come unto the king into the inner court, who is not called, there is one law of his to put him to death, except such as whom the king shall hold out the golden scepter that he may live. But I have not been called to come in unto the king these 30 days.
You see that? So he being blackballed, Haman dropping stuff in the king ear.
Yeah.
The king ain't had no use for Mordecai in 30 days. You know what I'm saying? Now this is the same man that saved your life, King.
Come on, brother. You can throw him away.
You done threw him away because somebody put something in your ear. Like you said, great men are not always wise.
Not always wise, bro.
Go ahead.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
And they told to Mordecai Esther's word. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Yahudim. Verse 14. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and their deliverance arise to see the Yahudi from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. And he who knoweth whether thou art coming to the kingdom for such a time as this.
See that? He telling her, look, hey, seize the opportunity. He said, hey, seize the opportunity. The Most High chose you. I done had dreams about this.
That's it.
And now it's all starting to make sense. He said, this, you gonna be the little fountain that turned into a great flood.
That's right, brother. Come on now.
Right? Go ahead.
Verse 15. Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer. Go gather together all the Yahudim that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me. Neither eat nor drink 3 days or night or day. I also and all my maids will fast likewise.
Yeah.
And I will also go unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish. So Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther had commanded him.
All right, let's jump to the additions. Let's go back to chapter 13 and then now pick it up at verse 8. We're going to read 8. We're going to read chapter 13 on that, which is 8 through 18. It's also chapter 14 is connected with this, and chapter 15.
All right.
All right, and then we're going to jump to chapter 5. Go ahead.
Then Mordecai thought upon all the works of Yahweh and made his prayer unto him, saying, O Yahweh, Elohim, King, the King Almighty, for the whole world is in thy power. And if thou hast appointed to save Israel, there is no man that can gainsay thee. For thou hast made heaven and earth, the Shamayim and Aretz, and all the wondrous things under the Shamayim. Thou art Elohim of all things, and there is no man that can resist thee, which art the Elohim. Thou knowest all things. Thou knowest, O Elohim, that there is neither contempt nor pride, nor any desire of glory, that I did not bow down to proud anger. For I could not have been content with good will for the salvation of Israel, to kiss the soles of his feet. But I did this that I may not prefer the glory of man above the glory of Yah. Neither will I worship any but thee, O Yah. Neither will I go neither will I do it in pride.
Mm-hmm. So he's saying, look, Lord, I wasn't doing this just so everybody could say, "Ooh, look at me, he's a rebel."
Right.
He's saying, look, I did this because I made it up in my mind that I won't bow down to serve no other man or God.
That's right. Brother.
Go ahead.
And now, Elohim, the King and King, spare thy people, for thy eyes are upon us. Bring us to naught. They desire to destroy the inheritance that thou has been that has been thine from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Despise not the portion which thou hast delivered out of the Egypt for thine own self. Hear my prayer and be merciful unto thine inheritance. Turn our sorrow into joy that we may live, O Elohim, and praise thy name and destroy not the mouths of them that praise thee, O Yah. All of Israel in like manner cried most earnestly unto Yahweh because their death was before their eyes.
Ooh, we. All right, so the plot's starting to thicken. Let's go to the next chapter, chapter 14, in the editions of Esther. All right, go ahead.
Queen Esther also being in fear of death, resorted unto Yahweh.
Look at the servants of the Most High. Go ahead.
And laid away her glorious apparel and put on the garments of anguish and mourning. And instead of precious ornaments, she covered her head with ashes and dung. And she humbled her body greatly. And all the places of her joy were filled with her torn hair.
Man.
And she prayed unto Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, saying, O my power, thou only art king. Help me, desolate woman, which have no helper but thee. For my danger is in mine hand. From my youth up I have heard in the tribe of my family that thou, Elohim, tookest Israel from among all people, and our fathers from all their predecessors for a perpetual inheritance, and thou hast performed whatsoever thou didst promise them. And now we have sinned before thee. Therefore thou hast given us into the hands of our enemies, because we worship their idols. O Yahweh, thou art righteous. Nevertheless, it satisfies them not that we are in bitter captivity, but have stricken the hands with their idols, that they will abolish the thing that thou with thy mouth has ordained, and destroy thine inheritance, and stop the mouth of them that praise thee, and quench the glory of thy house and of thine altar, and open the mouths of the heathen to set forth the praises of idols, and magnify all fleshly kings over thee. O Yahweh, give not thy scepter unto them that be nothing. And I'm going to read that again.
Woo.
O Yahweh, give not thy scepter unto them that be nothing. And let them not laugh at our fall, but turn their devices upon themselves, and make him an example that has begun this against us. Remember, O Yahweh, make it thyself known in the time of our affliction, and give me boldness, O King of the nations, and the power and the all power. Give me eloquent speech in my mouth before the lion. Turn his heart to hate him that fighteth against us, that there may be an end of him, and all that are like-minded to him.
You see that? So, hey, and who better than the king, who through this story we've known him to be very easily influenced.
Right.
All it takes is for somebody to
put a bug in his ear
and
do it like this.
Yeah. So hey, man, the Most High set this thing up.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Verse 14. But deliver us with thine hand, and help me that I am desolate, and which have no other helper but thee. Thou knowest all things, O Yahweh. Thou knowest that I hate the glory of the unrighteous, and abhor the bed of the uncircumcised of all the heathen. Thou knowest my necessity, for I abhor the sign of my high estate, which upon my head in the days wherein I show myself, and that I abhor it as a minstrel's rag, that I may wear not when I am in private by myself.
You see that? Hey, so she not carrying on like she proud to be
because
with,
she the
with
queen.
the heathen.
She don't want to be with that heathen. She doing it to save her people.
She said, man, I hate it more than
Mistress Rag.
That's crazy.
A Dollar General tampon. Like a Dollar General panty light. I hate it.
That's what she thought of that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead.
Most of our sisters would have been
They love back
big ball
here in America.
Had a prince.
Oh man,
they be big balls around here.
America had kings.
Ooh-wee.
Come on, man. These sisters be losing their mind out here.
Verse 17.
Yeah.
At that time, that thine handmaid have not eaten at Haman's table, and I have not greatly esteemed the king's feast, nor drunk the wine of the drink offering.
So what he having that big old party and all the other women being wild and carried away, Esther sitting there like this. I'm not impressed.
No.
I'm not impressed at all. Go ahead.
Verse 18.
Yeah.
Neither had thine handmaid any joy since the day that I was brought hither to this prison. But in thee, O Yahweh Elohim of Abraham, O thou mighty Elohim above all, hear the voice of the forlorn and deliver us out of the hand of the mischievous and deliver me out of my fear.
I read chapter 15.
All right. And upon the third day, when she had ended her prayer, she laid away her mourning garments and put on her glorious apparel. And being gloriously adorned after she had called upon Yah, who is the beholder and savior of all things, she took 2 maids with her. And upon one she leaned and carrying herself daintily, and on the other followed buried up her train. And she was ready. I'm going to read that again too. And she was ready through the perfection of her beauty, and her countenance was cheerful, and she and very amiable, but her heart was in anguish for fear. Then, having passed through all the doors, she stood before the king, who sat upon his royal throne and was clothed with all his robes of majesty, all glittering gold and precious stones, and he was very dreadful. Then, lifting up his countenance that shone with his majesty, he looked very fiercely upon her. And the queen fell down and was pale and fainted, and bowed herself upon the head of the maid that went before her. Then Yah changed the spirit of the king into mildness, who in fear leaped from his throne and took her in his arms till she came to herself again, and comforted her with loving word, and said unto her, Esther, what is the matter? I am thy brother, be of good cheer. Thou shalt not die, though thou commandest be general, come near. And he held up his golden scepter and laid it upon her neck, and embraced her and said, Speak unto me. Then said she unto him, I saw thee, my Lord, and an angel of Yah, and my heart was troubled with fear for thy majesty.
Hey, shout out to the handmaids too, because they life was on the line going up in their court like that.
Sure would.
They weren't scared either.
Right. The car was tied anyway.
Yeah. Go ahead.
For wonderful art thou, Lord, and thy countenance is full of grace. And as she was speaking, she fell down for faint.
She was nervous, boy.
Then the king was troubled, and all his servants comforted him.
All right, let's go to chapter 5 in the book of Esther. All right, when you get it, go ahead.
All right. Now it came to pass on the third day that Esther put on her royal apparel and stood in the inner court of the king's house over against the king's house. And the king sat upon his royal throne in the royal house over against the gate of the house. And it was so that when the king saw Esther queen standing in the court, that she obtained favor in his sight. And the king held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. So Esther drew near and touched the top of the scepter, and said to the king unto her, What wilt thou, Queen Esther? And what is thy request? And it shall be given thee. even to the half of the king.
Mm-hmm.
And Esther answered this, if it seem good unto the king, let the king and Haman come this day unto a banquet that I have prepared. For the king said, cause Haman to make haste, that he may do as Esther has said. So the king and Haman came to the banquet that Esther had prepared.
Man, my first time reading this, I'm like, boy, she gonna poison him? See, that's what I'm thinking in my head.
Right.
Like, he finna die. But go ahead.
Verse 6. And the king said unto Esther at the banquet of the wine, what is thy petition? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? Even to have the kingdom, it shall be performed. Then answered Esther and said, my petition and my request is, if I have found favor in the sight of the king, and if it please the king to grant my petition and to perform my request, let the king and Haman come to the banquet, and I shall prepare for them, and I will do tomorrow as the king has said. Then went Haman forth that day joyful and with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up nor moved for him, he was full of indignation against Mordecai. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself, and when he had came home, he sent and called for his friends and Zeresh, his wife. And Haman told them the glory of his riches and the multitude of his children and all the things wherein the king had promoted him, and how he had advanced above the princes and servants of the king. Haman said, moreover, yea, Esther the queen did not let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared but myself. And tomorrow I am invited unto her also with the king. Yet all this availeth me nothing, so as long as I see Mordecai the Yahudi sitting at the gates, at the king's gate. Then says Zeresh his wife and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high tomorrow, and 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. Then go thou in merrily with the king unto the banquet, and the thing pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made.
Let's go to chapter 6.
All right, chapter 6, verse 1. On that night could not the king sleep, and he commanded to bring the book of records and the chronicles that were read before the king. And it was found written that Mordecai had told of Bigthah and Teresh, two of the king's chamberlains and keepers at the door, who sought to lay hand on King Ahasuerus. And the king said, what honor and dignity has been done to Mordecai for this? Then said the king's servant that ministered unto him, there is nothing done for him.
That was the most high doing that.
Yes, sir.
Taking the sleep from him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And old Mordecai must have slipped his mind somehow.
Yeah.
Because remember, it said he wasn't messing with him for at least 30 days. So he couldn't sleep one night. Most High said, let me bring something back to your remembrance.
Right.
King, remember this guy? He saved your life. Go ahead.
And the king said, who is in the court? Now, Haman was come into the outward court of the king's house to speak unto the king to hang Mordecai on the gallows that he had prepared for him. And the king's servant said unto him, behold, Haman standing in the court. And the king said, let him come in. So Haman came in, and the king said unto him, what shall be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor? Now Haman thought in his heart, to whom would the king delight to do honor more than to myself? Big he. And Haman answered the king, for the man whom the king delighted to honor, let the royal apparel be bought, which the king used to wear, and the horse that the king rideth upon, and the crown royal which is set upon his head, and let this apparel and horse be delivered to the hand of one of the king's most noble princes. He may array the man with all whom the king delighted to honor, and to bring him on horseback through the street of the city, and proclaim before him, thus shall it be done to the man whom the king delighted to honor. And the king said to Haman, make haste and take the apparel and the horse, as thou hast said, and do even so unto Mordecai the Yahudi, that sitteth at the king's gate. Let nothing fail of all that thou hast spoken. Then took Haman the apparel and the horse, and arrayed Mordecai, and brought him on horseback through the street of the city, and proclaimed before him, thus shall it be done unto the man whom the king delighted to honor. And Mordecai came again to the king's gate, but Haman hasted to his house mourning, having his head covered. Oh boy.
Yes, sir.
And Haman told Zeresh his wife and all his friends everything that had befallen him. Then said his wise men and Zeresh his wife unto him, if Mordecai be the seed of Yahudi, before whom thou hast begun to fall, thou shalt not prevail against him, but shalt surely fall before him. And while they yet were talking, came the king's chamberlain, and hasted to bring Haman to the banquet that Esther had prepared.
All right, chapter 7.
Let's
go right on into chapter 7.
All
right, go ahead.
So the king and Haman came to the banquet with Esther the queen. And the king said again unto Esther on the second day at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition, Queen Esther? Shoot. It shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And it shall be performed, even to half of the kingdom. Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given at my petition, and my people at my request. For we are sold, and I and my people to be destroyed, to be slain, and to perish. But if we have been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, and I held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage. And the king Ahasuerus answered and said unto Esther the queen, who is he? And where is he that durst presume in his heart to do so? And Esther said, the adversary and the enemy is this wicked Haman.
Right. Esther put it on the line. She said, I ain't gonna point no elbows, but him sitting right over there.
Right.
Go ahead.
Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen. And the king, arising from the banquet of wine in his wrath, went into the palace guard. And Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther the queen, for he had saw that there was an evil determined against him by the king.
You know, somehow I want to ask Christ if I ever get to be in this presence.
Right.
Say in this scripture where it say you say don't laugh at your enemy's father. Was it including the Agagites too? Because I would like to get a good chuckle at Haman.
Yeah. I know he had egg on his face.
Boy, I'll be laughing. You know how Eddie Murphy was laughing on Another Professor when he was flaming. Was that Dave Chappelle that had this? Yeah. That's how I be laughing.
Yeah.
Boy. Go ahead.
Verse 8.
Yeah.
Then the king returned out of the palace guard into the place of the banquet of wine, and Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was. Then said the king, will he force the queen also before me in the house?
Oh, man.
And the word went out of the king's mouth. They covered Haman's face. And Harbona, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, behold, the gallows of 50 cubits high which Haman had made for Mordecai, whom he had spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him thereon. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified.
That's the turning point right there.
Mm-hmm.
I bet out of it was like, oh, Haman got hung.
Yep.
Like, let's see what happened next. Esther chapter 8.
All right.
Esther chapter 8. Let's get it.
On that day, the king Ahasuerus gave the house of Haman to the Yahudim.
When you get to verse 12, we're going back to the additions.
All right.
All right.
To the Yahudim enemy unto Esther the queen, and Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told that Esther had told what he was unto her.
Mm-hmm.
And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it unto Mordecai. And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman. And Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite, and his device that he had devised against the Yahudi. Then the king held the golden scepter toward Esther. So Esther arose and stood before the king, and said, "If it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight, and the king seems right before the king, and it seems right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes, let it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman, the son of Hammedatha the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Yahudi, which are in all the king's provinces. For how can I endure to see the evil that should come upon my people? Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred?"
You see that? Hey, look at the mindset of a person in the position of power, in captivity.
Come on, bro.
Right? They not selling their people out. They putting their life on the line for their people.
That's right.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther, the queen, and to Mordecai the Jew, "Behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and him they have hanged upon the gallows, because he laid the hand upon the Yahudi. Write ye also for the Yahudi as it liketh you, in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring. For the writings which is written in the king's name and sealed with the king's ring, may no man reverse."
Yeah.
Then were the king's scribes called at the time in the 3rd month, that is the month Sivan, on the 23rd day thereof, and it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Yahudi, to the lieutenants, and to the deputies and rulers of the provinces which are from India, to Ethiopia, 127 provinces, unto every province according to the writing thereof, unto every people after their language, so the Yahudi according to their writings and according to their language. And he wrote in the king Ahasuerus' name, and sealed it with the king's ring, and sent letters by post on horseback, and riders on mules and camels, and young dromedaries, wherein the king granted the Yahudi, which were in every city, to gather themselves together, to stand for their life, to destroy, to slay, to cause to perish all the power of the people of the province that would assault them, both little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for a prey.
Oh man, look. He gathered them all up for the Israelites to just knock them off like that. Oh, partner, come on, man. Don't give us no opportunity.
Man,
like
please
that.
don't give me that opportunity.
Man, look.
I've been laughing the whole time.
Look, I don't know what time it is. If you give me something like that to do,
man, look, I'll be tired.
Boy, go ahead. You talking about some releasing.
Verse 12.
Go ahead.
Upon one day in all the provinces of the king of Ahasuerus, namely upon the 13th day, on the 12th month, which is in the month Adar.
All right, let's jump to the editions of Esther chapter 16.
All right.
And this is the last time we'll be jumping. All right, when you get it.
Top of 16.
Yep.
The great king Artaxerxes unto the princes and the governors of the 107 and 20 provinces from India unto Ethiopia, and to all our faithful subjects, greeting. Many the more often they are honored with the great bounty of their gracious princes, and the more proud they are waxing, and endeavor to hurt not our subjects only, but not being able to bear abundance to take in, in hand to practice also against those that do them good. And not only thankfulness or what not to I'm sorry, and to take not only thankfulness away from among men, but also lifted up with the glorious words of lewd persons that were never good. They think to escape the justice of Yah that seeth all things and hateth evil. Oftentimes also fair speeches of those that are put in trust to manage their friends' affairs has caused many that are in authority to be partakers of innocent blood, and has enwrapped them in remedies of calamities, beguiling with falsehoods and deceits of their lewd disposition and innocency and their goodness of princes. Now you may see this, that we have declared not so much by ancient histories as ye may, if ye search what has been wickedly done of late through the pestilent behavior of them that are unworthily placed in authority. And we must take care for the time to come that our kingdom may be quiet and peaceable for all men, both by changing our purposes and always judging things that are evident with a more equal proceeding. For Haman, the Macedonian, the son of Amminadab.
Oh, Alexander the Greek was called a Macedonian.
So he was an implant.
Right. So Alexander the Greek, I ain't calling him great. Why ain't none of these heathens great?
No.
Alexander the Greek was an Edomite.
Come on now. And we can go, we got history books to prove
yes,
that.
sir.
We got two history books in particular.
You see that? He was an Edomite. It just called Haman, who was an Agagite of Macedonia. And he calls Alexander the Greek that same thing in 1 Maccabees 1, though.
That's called him a Macedonian.
All right. Hey, when he making this up, go ahead.
For Haman the Macedonian, the son of Amminadab, being indeed a stranger from the Persian blood and far distant from our goodness, and as a stranger received of us, has so far forth obtained the favor that we showed toward every nation, and that he was called our father and was continually honored of all men as the next person unto the king. But he, not bearing his great dignity, went about to deprive us of our kingdom and life, having by manifold cunning deceits sought of us the destruction as well of Mordecai's, who saved our life and continue to procure our good, also of blameless Esther, partake of our kingdoms with their whole nation. For by these means he sought finding us destitute of friends, to have translated the kingdom of the Persians to the Macedonians.
There it is
so
again.
So he's an implant.
There it is again. Hey, and yes, sis Francesca, I don't know what it is in Jasher.
What's that?
But when the sons of Japhet had mixed with
when Zepho went up there,
Zepho, who was an Edomite, right?
And he became the king of Greece and Rome.
Right. And so way back then, since the sons of Japhet, which include the Greeks, you know what I'm saying? They intermingled with Zepho, who was an Edomite. Right, and now
he became their king.
And he became their king, and now so you see the trickle down effect all the way to Alexander and all the way to Haman.
You go get the book, the Kingdom of the Edomites, and the question is asked in that book, from whence came the Romans? In the book, in the inscription said the Romans came from Esau. It's in the book. We got a lesson on it. on Swift as the eagle fly.
Yep.
It's in there. Verse 15. But we find that the Yahudi, whom this wicked wretched have delivered to utter destruction, are no evildoers, but live by the most just laws, that they be children of the Most High and the most mighty living heir, whom hath ordered the kingdom both unto us and to our progenitors in the most excellent manner. Wherefore ye shall do well not to put in execution the letters sent unto you by Ammon, the son of Amminadab. For he that was the worker of these things has hanged in the gates of Shusha or Shushan, which with all his family. Yahoo ruled all things.
Man.
They hung his whole family.
Dang.
Speedily rendering vengeance to him according to his deserts, his just deserts.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore ye shall publish a copy of this letter in all places, that the Yahudi may freely live after their own law, and ye shall aid them, even the same day, being the 13th day of the 12th month Adar, they may be avenged on them, whom in the time of their affliction shall set upon them. For Almighty Yah has turned to joy unto them the day wherein the chosen people should have perished. Ye shall therefore among your solemn feasts keep it a high day with all your feasts, that both now and hereafter there may be safety to us and the well-affected Persians, but to those who do conspire against us, a memorial of destruction.
See that? Hey, this is memorial. This day is also a memorial of destruction to those who conspire against us. Hey, he said, ye shall therefore among your solemn feasts keep this as a high day with all feasting, right? Go ahead.
Therefore, every city and country, whatsoever which shall not do according to these things, shall be destroyed without mercy, with fire and sword, and shall be made not only unpassable for men, but also most hateful to wild beasts and fowls forever.
Ooh-wee, all that. Yeah. See, I don't keep it. If it ain't Leviticus 23, I don't do it. All right. All right. Something the Most High had his hand in, you want to talk slick about. All right. Go ahead. Let's go back to Esther 9.
All right.
It ain't Deuteronomy 23.
Leviticus 23.
Leviticus 23, yeah. Leviticus 23, I ain't doing it. Okay. All right.
All right, just keep on playing.
It's feast prophesied in Zechariah.
That's not in Leviticus 23.
That we gonna be doing in the future when the Christ.
It's about 4-5 fasts in there that I know we ain't doing.
Right.
So you ain't gonna do that because they ain't in 23. Don't do it and find out.
Yep.
Don't do it and find out.
Yep. And in Zechariah, the Most High said, I'm gonna turn those fastings of mourning, those feast days, into joyous feasts.
Right.
So it's more feast days coming in the future.
See how they ain't doing no
Come on, man. They ain't reading. Yeah. They not reading. They not reading. Esther 9, when you get it, go ahead.
All right. Now in the 12th month, that is the month Adar, on the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment and his decree drew near, to be put on the execution in the day that the enemies of the Yahudi hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, that the Yahudi had ruled over them and hated them. The Yahudi gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus to lay hand on such as sought their hurt, and no man could withstand them, for the fear of them fell upon all people. And all the rulers of the provinces and the lieutenants and the deputies and the officers of the king helped the Yahudi because of the fear of Mordecai fell upon them. For Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame went out throughout the provinces. For this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater. Thus the Yahudi smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword, and slaughter, and destruction, and did what they would unto those that hated them. And in Shushan the palace, the Yahudi slew all and destroyed 500 men. And Parshat
them a lot of bodies. Them a lot of bodies.
Yes, sir. And Parshat Shandada, and Dalphon, and Ashvatha, and Poratha, and Adila, and Arithatha, and Parmishpatha, Arishai, Arnardai.
Yep.
and Va Salada.
Uh-huh.
And did I get it right?
Yeah.
And then something.
Look, all them names rhyme with die.
Yeah, you die.
Go ahead.
Then, the 10 sons of Haman, the sons of Hammedatha, the enemy of the Yahudi, slew they. But on the spoil they laid not their hand. On that day, the number of those that were slain in Shushan the palace was brought before the king. And the king said unto Esther the queen, the Yahudi have slain and destroyed 500 men in Shushan the palace, and the 10 sons of Haman. What have they done in the rest of the king's province?
That was just in one province?
That was just inside the king. The king's area.
Man.
That went in all the provinces from India to Ethiopia. That was just around the palace.
So you telling me that the king and Esther sitting here listening to all this going on? They just
all the
carrying on casual conversation.
What else they did up there?
They while all this going on, they just sitting there listening.
Yeah.
To all this. Well, I bet it's chaos out there.
Yes, sir. Now, what is competition? Now, what you want?
Yeah.
And it shall be granted thee. He said, whatever you want to do, smoke.
I would have said, kill some more of them.
Yeah. Or that they request not further, and it shall be done. Then said Esther, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Yahudi, which are in Shushan, to do tomorrow also according to this day's decree. And let Haman's 10 sons be hanged upon the gallows. And the king commanded it to be done. And the decree was given at the Shushan, and they was already dead.
I was just thinking that. Esther was
she was hot.
Hey, Esther, man. Look here.
The decree was given at Shushan, and they hanged Haman's 10 sons.
She like, oh yeah. Make sure they do what they did today in every other province.
Right.
And go hang his sons for me.
Man, that's crazy.
That'll complete my request.
For the Yahudi that were in Shushan gathered themselves together on the 14th day, also of the month Adar, and slew 300 men. And they killed 300 more.
800 men.
300 men at Shushan, but on the prey they laid not their hand. But the other Yahudi that were in the king's provinces gathered themselves together and stood for their lives, had the rest of their enemies, and slew their foes 70 and 5,000.
God.
But they laid not their hands on the prey.
And you got to think, the spirit of the Most High falling on these people. Because this ain't our army. This just Israel, period.
Yeah. And the people that's helping.
Yeah. This just Israel, man. This just regular people who ain't trained in war, none of that. Hey, they just handed them all a sword and say, whoever ain't the Israelite, lay them down.
Mm-hmm. If you was an Agagite or Edomite, you had problems in them days. On the 13th day of the month Adar, and on the 14th day of the same rested day, and made it a day of feasting and glad. But the Yahudi that were in Shushan assembled together on the 13th day thereof, and on the 14th day thereof, and on the 15th day of the same, they rested and made it a day of feasting and glad. They had a feast for 3 days. Mm-hmm. Therefore, the Yahudi of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th day of the month Adar of gladness and feasting and a good day, and sending portions to one another. Okay, so the Jews that was at Shushan did it for 3 days, and then the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns hallowed just the 14th. Okay. Yep. Go ahead. Verse 20. And Mordecai wrote these things and sent letters to all the Jews that were in the provinces of the king of Ahasuerus, both nigh and far, to establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar and the 15th day of the same year, and the day wherein the Yahudi rested from their enemies in the month which was turned unto them from sorrow to joyful mourning into a good day, that they should make them days of feasting and joy, and of sending portions to one another and gifts to the poor. And the Yahudi undertook, and see, that's why we going out tomorrow, y'all. Mm-hmm. That's why we going out tomorrow. We got to give gifts to the poor as part of this celebration. Yeah. All right. And the Yahudi undertook to do as they had begun, and as Mordecai had written unto them, because Haman the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the enemy of all the Yahudi, had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and had cast Purim, that is the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. Mm-hmm. Verse 22. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letter that his wicked devices, which he had devised against the Yahudi, should return upon his own head, and that his son should be hanged on the gallows. Wherefore they call the days Purim after the name Pure. Therefore, all the words of this letter and of that which they had seen concerning this matter, which had come unto them, the Yahudi ordained and took upon them and upon all their seed and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, so that it should not fail that they would keep these 2 days according to their writing and according to their appointed time every year. Mm-hmm. And that these days should be remembered and kept throughout every generation, every family, every province, every city. Can't do it anywhere in our land. And that these days of Purim should not fail among the Yahudi, no memorial of them perish from their seed. That's right. And Esther the queen, the daughter of Abihail, and Mordecai the Yahudi wrote with all authority to confirm this second letter of Purim. And he sent the letters unto all the Yahudim and to the 127 provinces of the kingdom of Ahasuerus, words of peace and truth, to confirm these days of Purim in the times appointed, according as Mordecai the Jew and Esther the queen had enjoined them, and as they had decreed for themselves for all their seed the matters of fastings and their crop. And the decree of Esther confirmed these matters of Purim, and it is written in the book.
Hallelujah. That's the lesson.
All praise.
Israel can't be faded.
Israel can't be faded. All praise. All praise. Man, excellent reading, excellent lesson, man. A reminder of, hey, and don't get twisted with these jokes saying you can't do Purim because it ain't in 23, man. Right. Like this brother just showed tonight, beautifully showed. Man, we got stuff that's all in these books, man, that we ain't halfway doing right.
Yeah, let me read that.
Read that, brother, Zechariah, man. Read that, brother. Read that.
Just in case y'all thought I was making something
up. No, we read it, but read it again.
I don't want to see no video. Octi from Water McKelzedek, Memphis, said prophesied a new feast.
No, man.
I ain't prophesied nothing.
Man, shut up.
Zechariah did.
Come on, bro.
It's Zechariah chapter 8.
Mm-hmm. I think it is in 8.
Chapter 8.
Feast, yep.
I'm picking up at verse 18.
Yeah.
It says, and the word of the Lord of hosts came unto me, saying, not the word of young lion. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the fast of the 4th month, the fast of the 5th month, and the fast of the 7th, and the fast of the 10th shall be to the house of Judah joy and gladness and cheerful feast. Therefore, love, truth, and peace.
That's right.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, it shall come to pass. Okay, let's get into another verse. But yeah, verse 19, Zechariah 8 and verse 19 talk about a few fasts.
So
you know what I'm saying? They're supposed to be turning to feast of joy.
That's right, brother. So we gonna participate tomorrow. Most High willing gonna be with us. We're going to get out there and serve the people tomorrow. We're going to get out there and do this R&B. Again, the brother was out there on the corner prophesying this afternoon after the first lesson.
Yes, sir.
Taking care of that business.
Hey, that was me riding by hungering at y'all, Andre.
Okay.
I don't know if you could see me, but then that was me.
All right. So we, matter of fact, they were right down the street from the house today. Over there. So they was out there taking care of the business. We're going to take care of this business tomorrow. Then we're going to come back on my beloved brother, Amnon house, and we're going to feast. We're going to throw up one foot to the Most High. He get the first toast.
That's right. That's right.
And then we're going to celebrate and enjoy our brothers and sisters tomorrow until the brothers tell us time to go home. So we're going to do that. Hey, don't forget, in another few minutes, let me see what time is it. We got about another hour. We got nephew too. We coming on. We rapid fire today.
That's right.
So y'all right back in it. Go get y'all. Go use the restroom. Get you some snacks, and then come back to the channel. We're gonna be right back at 10 o'clock. You got anything else for the people, bro?
Nah, man. Happy Feast of Purim.
Happy Feast of Purim, family. We love y'all. Y'all take care, and y'all get ready to enjoy the days of the Most High.
All right, shalom, family.
Shalom, family.